This is it, the superhero clash of the century is upon us. The excitement among comic book fans and moviegoers alike has been building for almost 3 years now, and it is finally here. But does Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice live up to the humongous hype train? Based on the heavy panning by critics and the average score of 29% on Rotten Tomatoes or 44% on Metacritic, you might be thinking Batman vs Superman is a big disappointment. But in truth, it is a very different story.
Today is a day for truth.
Dawn of Justice takes inspiration from various DC comics, such as The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. Zack Snyder has created a dark and gritty story about the costs of saving the world and the tough choices that our heroes may have to make. Among the destruction, the politics and the clashes of heroes, there is an important message about how absolute power can corrupt.
A good story is one of the most important aspects of a great film, and this is where Batman v Superman both excels and begins to fall at the same time. As you pull away the many intricate folds of this complexly assembled story, there are some great parts that will blow the minds of comic book fans, while other parts fall flat in their entirety.
The movie introduces a hardened and gritty Batman, played by Ben Affleck. An interesting conflict between Batman and Superman arises following the events of Man of Steel, with Batman fearing the colossal power of Superman, and Superman condemning Batman's judge, jury and executioner style of crime fighting. What follows is a very philosophical first 2 acts that question the morality of superheroes and whether their powers should be feared or accepted. Ben Affleck's performance is simply fantastic, and we are provided with a Batman we've never seen before on the silver screen. Henry Cavill returns as Superman and has once again received flack for being wooden and bland, but in our opinion, he perfectly portrays a hero battling a moral dilemma and struggling to deal with the public's perception of him.
Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is mainly functional, however, she only seems to appear to add a bit of mystery to the proceedings. But since we all knew exactly who Wonder Woman was, right from the get-go, this seemed a little pointless.
She with you?
I thought she was with you.
Amy Adams makes her second appearance as the Daily Planet's most intrepid reporter, Lois Lane, and whilst Amy Adams' acting is brilliant, she always seems to appear in the right place at the right time, which was particularly convenient, and ultimately she seemed to be the damsel in distress multiple times. Jesse Eisenberg puts a nice twist on Lex Luthor by acting deranged and psychotic. While his performance is extremely strong, I'm still not convinced he was the right choice for Lex Luthor, as his characteristics were closer to the Joker or the Riddler.
The red capes are coming.
Where the movie really falls is the pacing, which is a problem that Man of Steel also had. The final act cranks the action up to 10, and whilst it's a visual spectacle, at times it can be a little overwhelming. If the action were distributed throughout the film more evenly, it would have made a more balanced film.
Zack Snyder has generously sprinkled the movie with dream sequences that foreshadow a dark future in an alternate reality. On top of this, there are loads of Easter eggs that reference the comics and of course the Justice League. Whilst I admit they were a joy to see, they took the focus away from the main plot and made things unnecessarily confusing. All superhero films land somewhere on the border between the real-life humanity of the human race and the extraordinary powers that only exist within the realms of our imagination. Good special effects and CG are imperative to make this happen. Unfortunately, Dawn of Justice doesn't fall short. The entire movie is a visual masterpiece, and once again, Zack Snyder has demonstrated his unparalleled attention to detail and his ability to make striking visuals. That being said, the CG can get a little bit shaky at times, especially during the final battle with Doomsday. The overuse of CG effects during this scene are sometimes overwhelming, and though this does mirror the way Doomsday was presented in the comic books, it was sometimes too much for the eyes to take.
Since Doomsday is arguably one of Superman's most powerful enemies in the DC universe, the fact that he was generally used as a minor plot point to further the story of the Justice League left me feeling like the character had been ultimately wasted and could have been put to better use later in the franchise. The fact that his appearance within the film was spoilt by one of the trailers made this an even bigger waste. As always, Hans Zimmer is more than reliable with the backing music for this movie. This time, he collaborates with fellow composer Junkie XL. The duo provides an excellent score throughout the film, with each character having their own theme that mirrors their personality. The music builds tension wherever needed and amplifies the action and emotion during necessary scenes.
Overall, Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice is a great film. Its enjoyment factor alone for the comic book fans or the general filmgoers is unquestionable. And without being too critical, it holds its head high as arguably the most exciting superhero film to date.
The film does have its flaws, and it could have been improved in multiple different areas. The film feels as though it lost sight of the Batman v Superman aspect, and instead focuses on setting up the DC universe, which is a real shame.
When you look at the film as a whole, there is many more strong points to talk about than negatives in our honest opinion. Due to this, the very idea that any critic could give this film 1 out of 10 really makes you question the integrity of modern day film critics.
We are giving Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice a much deserved high score of 7.8 out of 10. Thanks very much for watching this review. Be sure to hit the like button if you agreed with our opinions, or if you didn't, let us know what you thought of the film in the comments section. We love hearing other people's opinions.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more gaming and movie based videos.